Welcome everybody to day 12 and keep it simple. We are going to work on our glutes today, building the glutes and trying to open the hip flexors. So there is a lot that goes on with back health that has a lot to do with making sure that you know how to recruit and incorporate and utilize your glutes and keep your hip flexors open. So we're going to combo those. Make sure that you have a towel or a pillow or a bolster to set under the hips for some of our moves. And you're going to need a single kind of heavier midweight. I have a 20-pound dumbbell and then a kettlebell that I'm going to be using my 44-pound there. So let's come on down onto the mat. Hinge your hips back, stretch through that low back. Let your hips kind of rock to the left and then the right. Just get that nice little child's pose. It's always super good to hit these throughout the day. Take a couple deep breaths. All right, drive your hips up and back. Take that right leg and bring it forward. Open through the right arm. So here we are getting that back hip flexor open. Super good. Left side. Drop that leg forward. Rotate up. Take a little second and check in here side to side. What's going on side to side? Which side feels tighter? Which side feels looser? Which side needs a little more TLC? All right. Walk those hands back to your feet. And we're going to go into a low squat. Sit your hips all the way back and down. And then we're going to go 10 of these. Ugh. All right. Drop as low as you can. Sink those hips and then come up. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Belly button pulls back to your spine. 9 and 10. Okay, we get our lunge and let's do a twist. Actually, no, we'll go our reach this time. Lunge back, reach up and over. Again, opening that hip flexor. So find that drop of your leg to the ground, that knee to the ground to be able to get that pull in your hip flexor as you reach up and over. 8. 10 and 10. All right. Let's hit up those spider lunges. Nice and wide on those legs. Hinge over and drop in. That stretch through the groin. Again, your calf, ankle, shin. Good. One more each side. Okay, next up we get our push-ups, and then our Superman, and then our wall dips. Engage your core. Nine and 10. Alrighty. Superman, belly locks. Here you're going to feel those glutes as well. You're going to be doing these in a bit. Not Superman, but these prone leg lifts. So very similar. Make sure the belly is locked. Get that upper back squeezed together. All right. Then coming on up for our wall dips, or you can always use a box. These have kind of been fun to build on here. 4, you can get that back going. 6, feel that core. And 10. Okay, now we hit our set. Good job with your warm-up. All right, so grab your towel or bolster. Depending on what's going on with your hips, you may want a bigger towel, but we're gonna set it kind of low on your pelvis, and we're gonna be doing prone leg lifts. Okay, so you're setting that bolster or towel just to be able to give yourself some lift through the hip bones. Okay, settle your forehead all the way on the ground or on your hands. Tuck your tailbone, flex your glute. You're going to lift right leg 10 times. We're focused on that glute. You want to make sure you're not putting any pressure on the low back. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, other side. Adjust if you need. That's what that towel bolster is there for, so you can get a little extra tuck. You're not putting as much pressure on your low back. Second side. 2, 3. Focus that glute. 8, 9, 10. All right, back to that first side. We're going to go 3 rounds of 10. 2. Keep that low belly locked. Make sure your neck stays relaxed. 10. Other side. 3. All right, back to that right side. What are you noticing? Something that I'm feeling here is I feel it more. I have to focus a lot more to not let it hit my back when I'm lifting my right leg. I have to focus a lot more to make sure I'm using that glute. 9, 10. Six. Try to build that booty. 9 and 10. All right, nice job. We have those done. Push your hips up and back. Sit those hips back. Take your child's pose. Shift a little side to side if you need. Okay, bring your right leg forward. Keep your left leg back. And just drop into that hip flexor opening, bouncing a little back and forth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift to that other side. Left hip comes forward, left leg. We're going to get that right back hip flexor. Little bounces. See if you can get your glute to flex while you're getting that opening in your hip flexor. All right. Lying on your back, we're going to move into single leg glute bridges. We're going to go 10 per side, 3 rounds through, just like we did with our prone leg lifts. All right. Get your low back to push into the ground. Flex your core. See if you can just barely touch your heels, and they should be right at hip width. So you're getting that pelvic tuck, then push your hips up. Feel those glutes engage. Make sure that you kept your pelvis how you had it tucked from the ground. Again, we don't want to put pressure on our low back. From there, fold your knee in like you're going to march, but you're going to push the last like 5 inches. 3 on that single side. 4, 5. Build those glutes. Focus there. 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop your left leg. Make sure everything's set. Pull the right knee in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 8, 9. Check that core. 10. All right, there's one set. Back to that first side. 5. Definitely in that glute this time. 2 and 1. Double check your core. Make sure that your pelvis is still tucked, neutral to your shoulders. 2, 3, 10. Whew. They're building. Don't rush. 2, 7. You got it. You got it. 9, 10. Whew. See if you can keep that pelvis neutral. Oh, 10. Okay, hug those knees into the chest. Tuck your chin in. We forgot our dead bugs in our warm-up, but that's okay. Every once in a while, might forget 1 or 2 things. All right, set your feet just outside your hips. Put your arms out wide. Rock your knees to the left. Put your left foot on top of your right knee. Getting that hip flexor opening through that right side. And then release. Reset everything. Rotate your knees to the right. Put your right foot on top of your left knee. Get that opening on that left hip flexor. Alrighty. Next up, we have another set of 3 sets, 10 reps. We're going to go into a supported side plank with a leg extension. So you're going to feel your glute on the bottom side. We're getting into those abductors, the upper outer side of the glute. Lift the chest, grab through the core. 2, 3. Lock and load through the full thigh, the core. Make sure your hips are pushed forward. You're not leaning back. 8, 9, 10. Starts out okay. But pretty soon, those legs should feel a lot heavier. Tuck the hips. Push your hip flexors open still. 8, 9, 10. Right? So if you pay attention here, if you're hinged back here, your hip flexor isn't open. So you want to push those hips open. Feel more in that glute and hamstring then as well. Roll those shoulders back and down. 10. Oof. Flip it over. Push those hips open. You're working both sides. One's moving, one's stabilizing. 8, 9, 10. Oh. All right, last round through. Set it up, push those hips open. 2, point your toes down so that they're not rotating up. Straightforward spine. 10. But you just want to try to get the toes pointed at least straight down or forward. Otherwise, you're rotating your leg and getting into your quad more. It's not what we're here for. Open the hip flexors, engage the glutes. 4, 5, 10. Woo. All right, let's go into our hands and knees. Shift the hips to the right and then to the left. Back to the right and back to the left. That stretch to the low back as well. All right, now we're gonna get our weighted sets. Bringing your right leg forward first real quick. Tuck in, just kind of bounce, get that hip flexor. Again, open, switch, tuck under. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a deadlift. You can go as heavy or as light as you'd like. You can go as low or whatever range you like. All right, so I'm going to use my kettlebell. We're going 10 reps. Okay, open chest, toes straight ahead. If you struggle with low back grab, maybe try widening your feet just a little bit. So here's the thing with your deadlift is at the top, you want to lock in the glutes, flex those glutes just like we did with our prone leg lifts, like we did with our glute bridges, and open the hip flexors. Okay, so a deadlift is actually really good for your back in terms of flexing your glutes, getting those used, opening the hip flexors. Soft knees, because you got to really push your butt back, drive up through your heels. Open your chest. Squeeze your back muscles together. 10. Okay, next up we're going to do a Patrick step. Okay, so one leg at a time. You can have a little bit of something, a wall to balance if you need. We're going to have one leg on the ground, the other one extending forward. Okay, so we're going to go 10 per side. Line your knee and toe. Let your knee bend past your toes. Square off the hips. You should feel that glute grabbing to push you up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Put your weight on the supporting side. Lengthen your back. What's going on with your pelvis? 6. 10. Perfect. Gets that little stretch through the calves. Good for the ankles. Okay. Next up, we're going to go kettlebell swings. We're going to hit up 30. Okay. You can go as light or as heavy as you'd like. Hit as many reps as you feel comfortable with. The biggest thing with your swing is making sure that you use the thrust of your hips, just like we did with our deadlifts. You want to get those hip flexors open, and the momentum comes from the swing and the thrust with your glutes. 30 reps. Hinge back. Snap those hips into place. 10. 20. Hinge forward. Thrust up. 30. Nice job. Okay. We're going to go back in. Deadlifts. Patrick steps. And then our swings. Toes straight ahead. Hinge it forward. Pack in through that back. Focus here. Remember the goal and purpose of today. Strengthening glutes. Opening hip flexors. 8. 10. Woo! Feeling those. Good, good. Whew. All right. Make sure you're recruiting your glutes. Ten. Line that knee and toe. Single side. 10. Oh boy. Now we get those kettlebell swings. Back at it. Again, using the momentum thrust from the glutes. 1, 2. Halfway. Get those glutes. 30. All right, all right. One last set to go. All right, deadlifts. Lock and load that belly. Flat, flat back. Nice work. Okay, right hand holds the weight. Right foot stays on the ground. Ten. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. I try to keep close eye on my knee, lining my toes, especially since it's going over the toes. Okay, last set on those kettlebell swings. 30. We got it. Three, two, and go. Halfway. Whew. All right. There it is. Nice work. Nice work, nice work. Whew. All right. We're going to finish off a little crescent lunge, up and down. So start with your left leg forward, your right leg back. But then you're going to find traction between your legs. Left leg pulls forward, right leg pulls back. Curl those back toes under, arms straight up. Tuck under, feel that hip flexor. Lift, and then lower. For 5. There's 4. Flex into the core, the back. Get your stretch. Hip flexor. 2, 1. Switch. All the way down. Find your traction. Open the hip flexor. That is a big piece. Building the back. Building the glutes. Stretching hip flexors. You should be able to see your big toe right inside your knee. 5. Woo. Okay. Drop both knees on the ground. And then sit back on your heels. See if you can plant your hands behind and then push your hips up off your legs. If you need to, put a couple dumbbells underneath your hands. Give you some lift. Push those hips forward. let it drop. Whew. And then again, bring that right leg forward. Keep the left leg back. So we're going to start short, tuck the hip, reach up and over, stretch that hip flexor. It's the point here. Get it. Slide forward a bit if you need. Take your right leg further forward. Plant your hands inside the leg and then lift that back knee up and let the hips drop again. Whew. Drop the back knee. Grab it with your right arm if you can. Grab the foot, pull towards your hips, and then tuck the hips under. Even pushing your foot into the hand a little will help get a little more stretch. Hip flexor, quad. All right, hinge back. Get that hamstring, pull the right hip back, left hip forward. We definitely hit those also today, but hopefully the majority of your grab was in your glutes. Channeling and learning how to get the back side of the leg. Switch your legs, start narrow, tuck in, lift that arm up. All right, and then slide it forward a little more. Both hands inside the left leg, lift your back knee, drop those hips. Drop your back knee, grab it with your left hand. Push your foot into the hand, open that chest, lengthen your quad, and stretch that hip flexor. All right, release your hamstring. Fantastic job. Keep me posted on your progress. Keep yourself posted on your progress. Make sure that you're building your habits, building your systems, keeping it going. Start small. If you take on too much at once, it's much more difficult to keep it going. All right, great job. I'll see you tomorrow.